Hi everyone, it's Lisa Finkel coming to you from Finkel Pottery in Prince Edward Island, Canada, on the east coast of Canada, where I have officially hit the winter wall. Today it is semi-sunny out there, but it's minus 25 Celsius with the wind chill. So I was going to go downstairs to my basement studio and I was going to do some filming and I was going to get my hands in some clay, and I can't do it. I just can't. So I hauled a bunch of the stuff upstairs. I came out of the kiln recently to show you guys. And then I have to do some decal work after that anyway. So I'm just going to do it upstairs and in my dining room. I'm sure lots of you have done some work in your dining room before. And maybe turn on the new season of Vera on BritBox because I love Vera. So there's a lot of repetition in this kiln because I have a vision, we'll see how it turns out, for a line of decaled mugs. Some of them I call Starry Night mugs, and some of them I call fantasy mugs. I'm going to show you some of the decals I bought. Hang on. Okay, so my thought is I want to tell a story with the decals. I really kind of thought about, I'm on the fence a little bit about decals. I feel like, is it cheating? But I don't feel it is, because I'm sort of designing a line around it and I have a vision and I'm going to use those decals to create a story, I hope. And I've been inspired by a lovely potter out of the UK. Her name is Nina Palomas. I'll put a link in the description for her YouTube channel, and she creates her own. She's an artist, so she creates her own decals. And I doubt she has a decal printer. Maybe she does, but she gets decals. I'm assuming it's decals. She hasn't shared the process, but they've got to be decals. So she uses decals on her mugs, and they are beautiful. So she inspired me to have another look at decals. So I'll show you some of the decals I bought. First from a company called Expressions, starting with an X. I'll put the link below. I found them on Etsy. And I have used their heart flower decals before, and they're quite lovely. So foxes are very big on PEI on Prince Edward Island. We have a lot of foxes, so I have some foxes. I actually kind of went with a fox theme. And this one is foxes and hares, and I wanted to get some different sizes so that they would fit in the space, and you'll see when I show you the mugs what I mean, because they work best on light colors. They don't work great on dark colors. So I wanted to go with a really soft sort of fantasy thing for my spring market. So this would be part of the fantasy series, and this is hummingbirds. So they have a lot of greens and purples in them. I'm going to try to do a video on how I create them. We'll see how it goes. Sometimes I have big plans. They don't always turn out. So dragonflies here. Those are really cute. So these get fired to cone, I believe the manufacturer says cone 015. And I think you can fast fire them. So I'm going to be doing that. And unicorns. A lot of purples in the unicorns and some yellows, so it's quite pretty. And last one, I think, of these horses. So once I fast fire those to cone 15, I've been doing some reading, and the gold decals, and I want to add gold decals as well, fire to cone 018. So you should fire down. So you fire your decals that need the hotter temperature first, which makes sense. And then you fire the lower temp decals. And gold decals, my understanding is, should only go to 018. And also gold luster works at 018. So I do have a little bit of gold luster, but it's not the bright gold. It's the Duncan's other gold that everyone says is not great. So anyway, we'll see. Work in progress. So I'm going to try to do some little moons. And these are sandbow gold decals. And they're on a yellow background, so it's really hard to see, but that background burns off. And I may have to cut them down a little bit. They might be too big for the space on the mug, and I'll show you what I mean. And then I also got some little gold stars that I will be using too. Got some plans for those. Hopefully that'll turn out. I have no plans for these right now, but I got them because I like them. So these are sun and moon. So, and then I did get some other moon ones. These are colored ones, and it's kind of hard to tell the color, but these are kind of pinky, and these are bluey, and they're moons. So I love the moon. I think moons are cool. So that's the plan with those. So maybe I'm just going to jump in from there and show you the mugs that I've created for those. So first off is what I call Starry Night mugs. So my plan for most of these, although I think the horses might get a few blue ones, but most of them will be for the fox and the hares. And I'm hoping to put like a moon up in the dark area. So we'll see how that turns out. I hope it does, because I made a lot of them. Usually I make one or two of something, and then I really love it, and I think, why the heck didn't I make more? So this time I went out on a limb, because I have used their decals before, so I think I'm okay, but I will only do one of the gold firing to make sure it turns out before I add the other stuff, because I would be heartbroken if I think I have like 20 mugs. So I won't take you through all of the gold, the blue and gold ones, but I did some different shapes, and I tried to vary the sort of the, what's the word, how the glaze drips down, so I have room for moons and that kind of thing. So I thought about it as I glazed versus trying to make it work after the fact. So this is up to about here, and I mean, it was wavy, right? So it was honey flux, 2 coats, and then 1 coat of river birch. I was doing all river birch, but much like winter wood, which I only do 1 coat of winter wood, it was impacting the design a little bit, because I've already done some decal mugs. So I went to 1, and I'm hoping that will work better, because if you get these big blobs coming through the decal, it can impact that. So there's that shape, this shape. So I kind of played with shapes, because everybody likes different shapes. And then the other color I only did 2 other colors, and I only did 1 of these because I wanted to try it. So this is in the green. So in all of these, I did the same treatment on the bottom, the honey flux and the river birch. But on the top in this one, I did Spectrum Holly Green, 2 coats. And then I did a coat of olive float, and I did a little bit of seaweed too. So this load, I was really happy with it. I didn't get anything wrecked or dripped off, but I didn't get as much running as I would like. So right now I'm using the Camille Hoffman schedule. I'm not moving away from that because I like that schedule. But right now my top temp is 2180, and I'm going to take it up to 2190, my next firing, just to see how that goes. You just keep playing, right? So I did do some purple ones for the fantasy series as well. And I can't tell you what is what, although I can take a guess for some of them. I actually just used 3 different purples and interchanged them, if that makes sense. So some of them had a base of eggplant. Some of them had a base of Pottery Supply House Plum Perfect. And some of them had a base of Textured Autumn. No, Autumn Purple, sorry, from Spectrum. And then I would just put blobs of Textured Autumn on the alternating mugs, Textured Autumn, Blue Hydrangea, which I use a lot because I like the starry effect. And I just kind of use those colors and just blob them around. So I'm sorry, I don't have anything more visual than blobbing them around, but I just played. And so this one I'm pretty sure, well, let's just see if I can guess. I would think this one is Plum Perfect from Pottery Supply House, because Plum Perfect is like almost like a dark celadon. It's really pretty purple. And this looks like fairly translucent. So this one might be autumn purple, I'm guessing now. And eggplant, I find eggplant, this is probably eggplant. And I find eggplant a little bit muddy sometimes, but people love it, so I use it. So anyway, just play with them. And now we will be putting like hummingbirds and unicorns and stuff like that on these. So we'll see how they turn out. Fingers crossed. Okay, what else do I have to show you? These are little, I call them freckled cloud mugs. So just a full dip in Norse blue. I like the shape of these a lot, and I think that they keep your coffee or your hot drink really warm because they taper up. And they hold a lot because of being so built out at the bottom. So I call these freckled cloud mugs, and full dip in Norse blue. Then I just wipe the Norse blue back, leave the raw clay. And this is Tucker's speckled white stoneware. It gets a little toasty, but I like that too. I think it's kind of cool. And then I use little coral, and coral the base for amaryllis, little coral dots for the cheeks. And then I just thin down some designer liner, black designer liner for the face, because I find it holds its color really well versus sometimes black underglaze. So I made 2 of those, and just slightly different shapes. This one had a I think this was my only run, a very slight little run, which I can just grind off, no problem. I did a couple of these attitude mugs, and this would be white inside, and this is the speckled. So the bottom is, I call it my cranberry, but it is Pottery Supply House red wine. And this is the top, then meeting, just meeting and slightly overlapping would be Power Turquoise. And then where they meet, I've got some light flux. And I made 2 of these. One broke on a customer, so this is a replacement for them. So this one, the difference is exact same glazes, but instead of light flux where they meet, I used some seaweed. So that turned out pretty too. Yeah, that looks good. The seaweed, if you look, the seaweed on the cranberry is kind of cool. Anyway, that's those. I've showed you that. Oh yeah. So these, I think I've done these before, and these are on speckled clay. And this is, first you dip it in alabaster, or do 3 coats of alabaster. Then I did 2 coats of raspberry mist, and then slightly overlapping a dip in Norse blue with white inside. And those are pretty. But this is a case where I think I could get a little more drippage. And I did this one. This one is definitely going to be a refire. So I just thought I'd try a different color. And this is Spectrum Twilight, which I really love. And then, but this was a treatment first, sorry. It was alabaster, raspberry mist, then the Twilight over. So I'm going to just do a band, probably of a little band of light flux and a little bit more raspberry mist, and I'm going to refire. So that's that one. This one, really loving the shape of these mugs. And some of them I've done, if they don't have any appliques on them or any kind of design on them, I put 2 little finger dimples in them. So it makes them really nice to clutch. You need to clutch your coffee. And then this is, on the bottom would be the Pottery Supply House red wine. And the top with a slight overlap would be, I think I did use 3 coats of Spectrum Autumn Purple. So that is really pretty. And Sarah Walton introduced me to that. So I've been doing it with the red wine and the sangria, which is beautiful, but this is also beautiful. So I tried that one and I really like it. Sarah, I'll be using that one again. And then I also did some wonky planters, and I did one in that glaze combo. So that turned out pretty. And I just did different legs. I'll show you for all of them. So that one. This one is the classic winter wood with light flux, because a lot of people really love that. And those have stubbier little legs. I'm calling them planters, but I also think they'd be really cool for little vases if you put a flower frog in the bottom. So here's, I did 2 in that because I thought that color is going to be really popular. This one is going to be a refire. So this one was Winterwood all over. Then it was Plum Perfect by Pottery Supply House, and then a coat of blue hydrangea over that. And it just did not run, and it actually has some little bumps, which I'm hoping when I refire that it will, those will run out. And I'll put some more, I'll put some flux on it, I think, to get some movement. And then this one is very pretty. So this one is Winterwood all over, and then a coat. I did 1 coat of the coral, which is the base for amaryllis, and then I did 2 coats of amaryllis, and I think that turned out pretty cool. I think someone will like that one. And that's the little legs on that one. What else? Oh, I have a few other things to show you. Oh yeah, okay, these 2. See if I can remember this one. This one is Deep Sea all over. Then I did a very light coat of light flux, like just barely brushed it on. Then I did a band of Pottery Supply House Plum Perfect, and then a band at the top of Pottery Supply House Purple Haze. So you kind of got some purpley blues happening. It's a little darker than I anticipated, but I guess if I'm using, I thought the light flux would lighten it up. But it's pretty, it's very moody, which someone will like, I'm sure. And then this one is Deep Sea. And then it's got a band of green tea, and then a band of blue hydrangea, and then a little band of flux at the top. And that one turned out really pretty. Lots of pretty colors in that, greens and blues. I don't know if you're seeing it on the camera, but I'm really liking that. Yeah, so that turned out cute. I've kind of been pecking away at these bowls. I love these. This is my new form. It's very organic. It's certainly not perfection, but I actually have a bisque form that I'm using for these, so I love this look. So the back of it, so first thing I did was I painted 2 coats of Spectrum Pearl White on the bottom. And I love this pearl white because look how that's, it's smooth as anything, but the spiral shows through. So pretty. And then on the back, I did 2 thick coats of Spectrum Floating Blue, and I did a little band of Spectrum Twilight on the rim, and then a bigger band of Spectrum Floating Blue over that, probably 2 coats, and then 1 other coat of Spectrum Pearl White over the whole thing. And I don't know if you can see that, but the twilight on the rim gives you this kind of nice dark smoky look. Anyway, I love these. So every time I do them, I just do a different color. I thought they'd be kind of fun to have stacked at a market. And then I'd done a tray previously that I showed you guys. So I did another one because I have a bisque form for this too. It's a nice big long tray, be perfect for charcuterie. Turned out pretty flat. It's not as flat. I called my other one my Kiln Miracle. So this one is pretty frickin' flat, but it's got a tiny, tiny, tiny wobble, but nothing that I would worry about selling it. So the difference is the other one I used Deep Sea on as the base. This one I used Spectrum Floating Blue. And then I did a band of blue hydrangea over the middle. And then I did seaweed on the edges and then on the starfish. And I think that turned out pretty. I brought the other one up to show you the difference, because one is definitely bluer. That's the first one I did with the Deep Sea, and this is the one I did with the Floating Blue. And both are gorgeous. Like, I love those. Those are so pretty. Ooh, trying to break them. So that's it for this kiln unload. Like I said, I didn't show you every single mug in that Starry Nights series, but I am going to try to do a video showing you how I'm going through that process. But thank you for watching. If you enjoy, please like and subscribe. It really does help. And stay tuned for the next kiln unload, and I'll put some links below for Paloma and for Expression decals. And happy potting. Stay warm. And for those of you like Nat and Tracy who are in Australia, I am so jealous. It is so cold here. But anyway, it will get better. It's March. Things are going to start to warm up soon. So take care, everyone. See you next time.